It's Black History Month, so it feels like the right time to talk about where the game stands when it comes to equality and tackling discrimination. Obviously, you spent time leading that through Kick It Out. Just first of all, I wanted to touch on an incident that happened with the Exeter City versus Reading game. Now, I think this is where the problem still is so massive, because I didn't hear about this. I consume football on my phone, I watch a lot of it, and I didn't hear about it. Why didn't...
Because football doesn't care about it enough. It's Exeter versus Reading. By the way, it was the second game on the spin that Exeter have had an incident like that. But football doesn't care enough. It's down the leagues, it will go away. No real care about the player, the victim. No care about people that may have heard the language in and around, you know. So if it was a Premier League game, you would hear about it. But down the leagues, the EFL, Premier League, the PFA, the FA, they have so much responsibility in this place, in this space, and I think they've let far too many people down in this space, far too many.
Is that part of the reason why you're not involved, or?
Put it this way, it's draining. So to do the fight, to empower players, to challenge the environment, to tell people that can you at least go and support the player that has been the victim, the parents, the family, that it's tiring.
Yeah,
and I don't think I should have to convince people to do that as a job. You know, I'm an individual that's working for a very small organisation, but it was on me. And it became tiring mentally, physically, to keep, you know, raising my head to support the likes of people like you, do you know what I mean, Joleon? Every so often, and then not getting results for them.
And then people like me looking at you saying, what's he doing?
Yeah.
What's he doing? He's not doing anything.
Yeah.
But it's the organisation, the policies in place.
I'll take that on board. You know why? Because I used to stick my neck out for players. You tell me, no one is going to fabricate racism.
No.
No one is going to say, oh, you didn't call me, but you know what? I want to get this player in trouble.
No one.
We were saying this before. I was like, of all the alleged incidences, I don't know any player that's been convicted in the history of the game. I couldn't tell you the last player that's been convicted of racism.
Casillas. So, Jonathan Lescott, I got absolutely slaughtered for this.
Yeah, and I know Jonathan. Like,
you know Jonathan.
West Brom,
right.
Good kid.
Yeah, I got slaughtered for this, but more importantly, they found Casillas guilty of using the language. Casillas got 4 6-match ban, because it's now minimum 6 matches. Served that in 2 weeks, because as you know, you play Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, 2.5 weeks. The manager was, what's his name? Argentinian guy.
Yeah.
He gave him the armband when he came back.
Yeah.
He wasn't the captain. He wasn't the captain.
Yeah. He wasn't the captain?
He wasn't the captain. So what that says to me is that we as a club have got your back.
Yeah.
Take the armband for this game.
But there needs to be some punishment.
There needs to be stronger punishment, and that's
why. The policies in place aren't like...
they're not
like I said, I know Jonathan Lescott.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to him at the time, and he was upset. Just the simple fact of when he went to the hearing, they sat him next to the goalie.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I was like, what? What other
Joleon,
form
I can
of
tell you
abuse
some
can
practices.
a victim has to sit next
to the perpetrator.
Literally sit next to
with the language used as well.
I couldn't believe it. I said, nah, no way. There's no way.
Don't be surprised.
How old was he? 19, 20
Yeah,
at the time.
19, 20. He was a young player.
Yeah. Did he get any care after? Was it?
Again, this is the policy. This is why my issue with Kick It Out was I always had an issue. I think it was 2007. There's an incident with Newcastle, Everton, and Emre, the Turkish player, said something to Joseph Yobo, and me and Tim Howard heard it. Went to the hearing and was told we wasn't allowed any representation. Bearing in mind, I didn't hear it. Like, I hadn't spoke to Kick It Out before. I had nothing. Was told I wasn't allowed any representation. Went there, got into the hearing. Me and Tim are in separate. We have to go in separate. We get into the room and Emre's in there with five
representatives.
Yeah, 5. I was like, I can't even bring in a club representative, and he's got lawyers and all that. They said, we're going to take it all day. And I remember this clear as day. We're going to take all day to deliberate on the answer. Cool, no problem. It was in Leeds. I live in Cheshire. I hadn't even got home, and it'd been cleared. I hadn't even got home. I was like, this ain't for me.
See, now,
And I'm
I
just
joined-
blaming the policies.
Yeah. I joined 2011. Went straight into the Terry Ferdinand.
That was when my one got like glorified. The fact that I
That's-
didn't wear
yeah,
it.
I
but
thought so.
4 years
Oh,
before.
what, when you
Yeah.
didn't wear the kick it out?
Yeah, but before, I ain't been wearing it
You
4
hadn't
years
been wearing
before.
it previously.
but because of
Because
that,
my name
yeah.
wasn't Ferdinand. And my
Exactly,
stature
exactly.
wasn't Ferdinand
Yeah.
level. No one.
And that's what made me think that your incident was 2011.
Yeah.
Just because your name started to reverberate. And I was like,
I
hold
never.
on a minute.
So from the rest of my career,
You didn't wear them for the rest of your career?
I didn't wear it, and I didn't. Do you know the pictures at the start of the season? I
wouldn't
I wouldn't go in the pictures. If ever show races and the red card
So,
ever
yeah,
come, I would
yeah.
turn the card around. I would face the other way, so they could never display any pictures that I'm in because I wasn't looking at the camera.
Yeah.
I said, "You're not going to use me to promote
And by the
this."
way, that is a choice that you've made because of the situation, how it, the eventual outcome. There would be no challenge from me on that if I was in the organisation again, because ultimately you've had the experience. The amount of players that have said to me, like, the experience is absolute crap of going through the process, to which then I find out what the process is and actually inform you beforehand. This is what to expect. This is how it's going to run. And by the way, this might take 6 months. So one of my things that I got in place was that they had to have diverse boards. So they had 3-person
I
panel.
was on the.
Did you do
on
it?
the Premier League? Still on it, but again, it took 2 years to get someone to be elected on the board. I'm just like 2 years.
Why do you think, Troy, going back to like big organisations making decisions, why do you think it takes them so long? Why do you think we're still waiting 6? Like, what could possibly be the reason
I
for
haven't
that?
got. I get legal. I get legal.
What's
this,
your
that.
opinion, though? I don't think none of us are going to know the reason.
Yeah.
Why do you think, though?
I've got to be honest, and remember, I've scoured this game up and down, right the way through. They don't like the conversation. The conversation
100%.
is very, very hard to handle. Remember, at the top of this game, whether it's Premier League, all of them organisations, there's no representation. There's no people that look, sound, and feel like those that are being victimised. So the urgency is not there.
Yeah, but I also believe that is an excuse because there's so many things that don't happen to us as adults and as men, say for abuse that a woman may receive, but we're able to relate to that. We find a way to relate to that, but racism we use we aren't a person of colour, or I can't relate to that.
Yeah, but see, when you live with a privilege,
It's mad.
and you don't want to undertake the feeling that we might have had during those periods of time, it's not really on your radar. I always used to say, UEFA used to set some punishments. So I think it was England, Bulgaria or England, Montenegro, and they used to set punishments. And the punishment for racism, when they put it out on their list, is down the bottom. But guess what it's behind? Pyrotechnics, people standing in stairwells. You're prepared to shout about those, and then you say, there was, 5, 6 down the line. And I used to say, so every time I did an interview, I used to say, they don't care.
No,
You can't care.
The rules state that they don't care enough when I think it's 3 strikes. I think a player has to receive 3 incidences in one game before you could walk off.
So that Bulgarian game, Joleon, when Tyrone Mings said, did you hear that?
Yeah.
The process, they followed the process, Stop the game, have a conversation, hope it doesn't happen again, stadium announcement. Second time, pull the players off. They didn't pull the players off. Third time, Greg Clark, who was the FA chairman, said, oh, yes, it continued to happen in the second half. So why didn't you pull the players off then?
It's insane.
But we were winning 4-0, 5-0. Who cares?
Besides the point, completely besides the point.
But if I pull your shirt twice, I'm off.
You're getting,
Yeah, but my other pet hate is people saying it's a societal problem. We know it's a societal problem. I get it. But football has an obligation to deal with its problem that it has in its space. And football turns away and doesn't look at it time and time again. I could fill this room and more with players who, say to me, Troy, thanks, but because you haven't got me an outcome. And I feel, and this is why in the end it became such a draining job, because I want to get you an outcome, but the system controls that space. And I can't fight the system. I've tried a lot. There's a lot of people that don't like me in the industry, and I don't care because I'm doing it on behalf of so many. And by the way, Premier League, right the way through to grassroots, right through the academy system. And I think to myself, you're prepared and allowing this to happen. Young players who we don't even know are going to make it, but they're going to walk away from the game and feel like the game served them no purpose.
Oh, yeah. I was telling them about a story about Mark McCannum that people don't even know about. Like, won a case against his club and never played a game. Couldn't get a team and was proven that he was right in what he was saying, and they literally segregated him from the dressing room and, like, horrendous. But couldn't get a team after because he probably just accused them of being racist.
Because of that. And there's more. Honestly, I could fill the whole segment with more and more stories. But that was, answering your question, that was the reason why it's time to step away. It's time to obviously give myself a little bit of peace of mind. There's no regrets, but there's no regrets. There's not one element of... The thing that I like within all this mess is the control that players have now. Social media wasn't a big thing at that time, wasn't it? So players now just call it out on social. No more waiting for the press guy in the football club.
To tell them,
don't do nothing, we'll make a statement. I don't need you no more. I will pop things into my stories and the millions will hear it from me first. And that's the only thing that I think players... I'd like to think that I've been part of that process of empowering players to tell their own story, rather than wait to tell the story. I've got to go through a process. Yes, let's use the term alleged. That means possibly didn't happen, or that's what we're going to say. Players are now just going, bam, there it is. Here you go. Deal with it how you want to deal with it.
Troy, you obviously spent, over a decade working with Kick It Out. And obviously there'll be so many moments you're so proud of. But when did you feel like was the moment that it was time to move on?
I would imagine that I knew in my own head that 2 years previous, I'm going to have to think about this. Do you know what I mean? Can I keep... Because remember, racism hasn't gone away. So the stories are still there and I'm the one taking it on board. And then I felt there was a point when people weren't listening anymore as well. So, here he goes again. Do you know what I mean? Here he goes again. And I thought, you know what? Why am I continuing? You can see the dents in my head, can't you? Why am I continuing to bang my head against a brick wall when the industry is just saying... So I left when I left. I think it was the right and appropriate time. But like I said, the thought process was probably over a couple of years. But to get to the stage when I did leave, and it was just right, and it was important for me to, for once, take time to look after myself rather than... And I don't mean this disrespectfully at all, but I'm looking after everybody. But I've got no one to look after me. And in some of those real important moments, if you don't mind... Anton Ferdinand's documentary, Football, Racism, Me. The first time we connected, and he went, Troy, do you mind having a conversation? He said, me, Rio, we don't really like Kick It Out, but we want to talk to you. So he came and spoke to me. We haven't stopped being friends since. I understood his point. He understood my point. And, out of that documentary, I thought to myself, you know what? This shows that we can make good out of a really, really difficult situation. Anton told his story. That programme went out at 9 o'clock. It's one of the ones that went out at 9 o'clock. I didn't watch it at 9 o'clock. I thought, let it all die, let it all go and whatever. The FA, who are normally asleep at 6:30, they put out a statement at 10 o'clock that night. My phone starts going all over the place. So, the documentary was that good? No. The FA made a statement. The top paragraph was about Anton, who is the only person they should care about, and the failings in that situation. 3 paragraphs on Troy Townsend, and the fact that I gave inaccurate information. Don't know where I've got my information from. Why would I lie about a situation or situations? And so they tried to discredit me. And again, this is where I love social media, because people were saying, you're discrediting Troy Townsend. How about looking at yourselves? How about this and how about that? And I took no credit from that, but it kind of gave me a sense of, I had to take 2 weeks off. I took 2 weeks off because the enormity of them, and if I really wanted to, I could have made it legal, but the enormity of them putting a black mark on my name had such a massive impact. And internally, unfortunately, there was no more Lord Herman Ousley. I didn't get backed. I didn't get backed. And from that
You didn't
point...
get back from the campaign that you was involved in.
Your face.
See that laugh?
This is what I'm saying.
Right.
I work for the company.
I know...
That's supposed to be doing something.
Yeah, I know what you're... You know what I mean? I feel and understand your situation because I felt it myself.
Do you believe there's going to be real change?
No. I don't think I will be alive when there's change. No chance.
I endorse that.
No chance.
My hope is that is that we look after the people that need looking after. So anyone that's a victim of abuse.
Just start with that.
Just start with that as a basis.
There's not even that.
There's not
right
even
now.
that. But then the game becomes more reflective of what it looks like on the field of play. There's no struggles on the field of play in regards to representation. There is in a women's game. But there's no struggles on the field of play in the men's game. But we've got 2 black managers out of 92. Don't tell me, and this argument that black players, ex-players, don't take their coaching badges. That's why we've got very minimal board members. We've got people at the top that look like each other that are making all the decisions that impact on everybody else. I just want to see a fairer system. And if we can get to a fairer system, then football actually might take on its responsibilities. Because at the moment, and for the time that I was in, no, I don't think it did.
Yeah, I generally don't believe I will see a difference. I just hope that down the line, family members that are still involved in the game see one.
Yeah.
It's that simple.